Say hello to Grokipedia.
Recently, Elon Musk launched Grokipedia to compete with Wikipedia, which he calls Wokepedia because it's so left-wing. But is Wikipedia really left-wing? Well, yes.
Years ago, Wikipedia was a dream.
10 years ago, I reported how Wikipedia had changed encyclopedias. People assumed encyclopedias needed a staff of paid researchers. Wikipedia is like a public restroom, sneered Britannica's editor. But just a few years after he said that, Wikipedia had won.
Wikipedia became the world's go-to resource. When you look something up, it's there.
While Britannica stopped printing books.
I love Britannica.
Wikipedia founder Jimmy Wales told me.
I love candles too, but I sure wouldn't give up my electric light.
In a TED Talk, he explained,
people are always asking, well, who's in charge of this or who does that? And the answer is anybody who wants to pitch in.
Anyone can edit, says Wikipedia's ad. But now I realize that when it comes to politics, leftists dominate. Some proudly advertise that they're socialists and post pictures of Che and Lenin on their profiles.
No encyclopedia, to my knowledge, has been as biased as Wikipedia.
Larry Sanger's Wikipedia's other founder.
I inflicted this thing on the world, and I kind of regret it.
It's designed to push an ideological agenda that you can't see.
Journalist Ashley Rinsberg runs Neutral Point of View, which exposes Wikipedia bias. It's just one website, so what if it's biased?
Wikipedia's information spreads into everything online.
It sure does, and Wikipedia brags about that.
AI studies Wikipedia. Search engines copy it. Your smart speaker whispers it back to you.
ChatGPT, every other frontier AI model, onto Google, onto your phone, Siri and Alexa, when you ask a question, it is all Wikipedia. It has become the ground truth for information online against which other claims and statements get compared to be considered true or false.
Wikipedia brags about that, too.
Here's what I found on Wikipedia. I mean the internet.
When you Google or ask AI a question, you often see
Wikipedia, 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 Wikipedia. That, in turn, is shaped by a handful of editors we don't know.
A handful? But Wikipedia claims.
When AI uses information from Wikipedia, it's drawing on knowledge created by millions of people.
At the end of the day, it's a few thousand powerful editors who are determining what gets counted as information on the most important topics.
And those editors sure hate Donald Trump. When Trump put illegal immigrants in detention centers during his first term, Wikipedia editors listed that under concentration camps. Well, the media had pointed out that children were put in cages. But 3 years ago, since Wikipedia says anyone can edit, I tried to put that in perspective. President Barack Obama built these cages. There, that's fixed. But within a day, my edit was taken down.
Wikipedia has definitely been taken over by woke activists.
Why would they lean left?
By nature. When you take something academic-minded, and Wikipedia editors are very academic-minded, they're naturally going to draw from that pool of academia, which is left-leaning.
People on the right are more likely to earn their living building things or farming, fishing, serving in police and military organizations. People on the left are more likely to be academics, reporters, lawyers, people who write for a living. That gives them an advantage competing on Wikipedia.
The real barrier is to understand all the parliamentarian maneuvering, all the rules lawyering, all this kind of stuff that you need really takes years to understand it, to win a single debate about a single sentence.
In addition, Wikipedia has simply declared most conservative media generally unreliable. That means editors should not cite Fox News, The Federalist, The Daily Wire, The New York Post. By contrast, Wikipedia not only calls CNN reliable, it deems MSNBC, Vox, Slate, The Nation, and Mother Jones reliable. If you're a leftist, that's what you think.
They consider Fox in their bones to be unreliable, never to be used on a variety of important topics.
And Fox is unreliable sometimes. But so is MSNBC and CNN.
And the New York Times and any other rated reliable website or news outlet that's listed.
However,
MSNBC, The Nation, or Mother Jones, however far left you go, it's still going to be considered generally reliable. This is also true with Al Jazeera, which is a Qatari-controlled outlet, considered to be generally reliable, that gives it a higher ranking in the reliability rating than many American conservative news outlets which have proper editorial structure and accountability.
Wikipedia's bias is also revealed in their choice of subjects. After the murder of this Ukrainian refugee,
a grisly stabbing in Charlotte, North Carolina,
Wikipedia editors wanted this article about her deleted, arguing that the topic may not meet Wikipedia's notability guideline.
Erase this story, because this story was a story about race, about who gets to be acknowledged as a victim. This was a white woman murdered by a black man, and Wikipedia very quickly tried to delete that article, saying it wasn't notable.
This is just one murder.
But when you look at other instances of single crimes or crimes that end up in the news cycle, they do stay on Wikipedia, and there's not an effort to delete them.
Also, although the killer had been arrested 14 times,
Wikipedia wouldn't allow him to be named on the website. They said, we have to protect his identity because he's a suspect. He's not been convicted. Fair enough. The problem is when you look at another case on the right.
A 17-year-old from a neighboring state is now under arrest tonight, accused of firing on demonstrators.
Kyle Rittenhouse, who was a minor, they named him dozens of times.
And Rittenhouse has never been convicted.
But Wikipedia had no problem putting his name out there for the world.
And people point out the unfairness and inconsistency, but nothing changes.
There is a point where public pressure and the culture actually does sway Wikipedia. Irina Zarutska is a good example because there was an outcry about this, and eventually Wikipedia did allow that article to stay. But on a whole, you're absolutely right. Nothing changes.
Another example of Wikipedia bias from the Israel-Palestine conflict. You say pro-Hamas editors push propaganda.
40 or so editors, who I call the Gang of 40, they've made 1 million edits to 10,000 articles. They're removing mentions of terror attacks by Hezbollah and Hamas. This is a systematic, coordinated effort.
Right before the presidential election, Wikipedia created a page called Donald Trump and Fascism.
If that is not election interference, I'm not sure what is.
The Guardian, a left-wing newspaper, in the same day, published the same thing.
And they cited heavily a Harvard scholar who has ties to an Obama appointee. But you, as a user of Wikipedia, will never see all this chain of sourcing. You just see the final product. So you don't know where this came from. You don't know if it was a Marxist scholar. You just see what you see on Wikipedia on the surface. They called him first a fascist, and then they sort of evolved the messaging to call him an authoritarian.
But isn't that fair?
The problem is that on Wikipedia, you only get one side of it. The worldview presented doesn't allow for other perspectives to be included in what you're reading about some of the most important topics of today.
If you look up Fidel Castro's successor, who repressed Cuba for years, you don't get authoritarian.
Not one mention of the term authoritarian on Raul Castro. There's not one mention of the word authoritarian on the entry for Ayatollah Khomeini.
At least on the leader of China's page, Wikipedia does say
some foreign diplomats consider him to be an authoritarian, or they don't really make the claim, certainly not in the way that they're making about Trump.
Rinsberg says that's because Chinese government censors flood the site. But Slate says they've banned editors associated with the Chinese Communist Party.
They banned, I think, 6 out of 300 that we know about. There's probably many, many more than that.
Maybe these are just people in China. You don't know it's the government.
You can only access Wikipedia in China if you have permission from the government.
In addition,
China runs state-sanctioned propaganda news outlets. These are cited tens of thousands of times on Wikipedia, and that's allowed to stand on the site.
The COVID lab leak is treated like a conspiracy theory.
In 2020, you might have been able to say that when we didn't know much about what was going on.
Lab leak is a theory with no evidence whatsoever.
A perfect storm for conspiracy theorists, because their theories are now everywhere.
Finally, after years of leftist media calling the Chinese lab link a conspiracy, the media reported on the new evidence.
COVID-19 likely originated from a laboratory leak in Wuhan, China.
But Wikipedia still says no evidence supporting laboratory involvement.
You will walk away with the impression that it is a conspiracy theory that is not supported by the scientists, and that's just not true.
All this makes me wonder about that new option, Grokipedia.
Grokipedia is built on Musk's AI firm xAI's model, designed for deep understanding and reasoning, not just regurgitating text.
Is Grokipedia better? Maybe. It's new in AI, so it makes mistakes, but when it comes to COVID, I notice Grok does list investigations that affirm a lab leak is the most probable origin. Wikipedia buries that. Grok is better than Wikipedia on my page, too. My page is filled with mistakes and smears that make me look cruel. Wikipedia claims I argued that AIDS research gets too much funding, but I just reported that it got disproportionate funding compared to other diseases, which is true.
We're spending 10 times as much per fatality on people with AIDS as people with breast cancer or prostate cancer.
Wikipedia editors don't trash Bill Clinton for saying that, but they make me appear wrong and heartless, and I can't get it corrected. It's not fair.
There's nobody for you to talk to say this is wrong. If this was a news organization, there would be an avenue or a channel for you to at least address it. In Wikipedia's case, that is not true.
Until now.
With Grokipedia, we finally have another choice.
And other options are springing up. Sciencepedia, Justipedia.
Justipedia, it's founded by a veteran Wikipedia editor who couldn't handle the left-wing bias. So she said, I'm going to do my own thing, and it's actually gaining real momentum. This is exactly what we need. We need people to be able to choose among different sources so we're not all forced into the Wikipedia information funnel.
I once made a sizable donation to Wikipedia, which I now regret, and they're rolling in money. And that brought me a meeting with Catherine Mayer, who was head of the foundation at the time. She says,
our reverence for the truth might be a distraction.
Catherine Mayer is that woke ideology. She personifies it, she believes in it, she lives it, which is why NPR hired her as the CEO.
When Wikipedia first started, the majority of its authors were Western white men.
It was Maher who shaped Wikipedia in these critical years, starting in 2016, when she became executive director. This is where we started to see a massive shift within Wikimedia Foundation, which runs Wikipedia, towards woke and DEI ideology. She changed the mission of Wikipedia from developing an online encyclopedia, it's pretty straightforward, and she made it about creating a social justice movement.
Is there any way to fix it?
I think the best chance that we have is for dedicated people who are really interested in these topics to get in there and become a editor that can make those kinds of changes.
Weeks, months, years it takes.
Yeah, but we only need a few dozen, maybe even fewer, to make an impact in any given topic area. So if enough people say, you know what, I'm going to give it a go. My voice should be represented, or my worldview should be represented. They actually can make an impact. The question is, are enough people going to take that leap?
Just a few dozen?
A few dozen can actually make a difference.
A few dozen people might make a difference. So I hope you become a Wikipedia editor and make some truthful edits.